What's up, weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here, and as you can see behind me on this nice, awesome lift that my friend Jesse gave me, the XS650 is on it right now, so that's what we're working on today. But before we dive into the XS650, today we're going to be messing with the clutch push rod bushings and seals, which are puking oil all over the place right now. Before we get into that, it's time for one more installment on the epic saga of Joshua's box. Last time you guys saw the box, I was putting stain on it, and since then I have also put lacquer or shellac or whatever you want to call it, and put several coats of that on it and polished it really well, so the surface is really smooth right now, and I'm sure it'll get immediately messed up the first time I weld near it or do anything, but I wanted a surface that was easy to wipe off. So the whole box is it's kind of shiny now, so that's nice. You actually can polish a turd. Now that I've got this nice finish on here, let me go ahead and put my vise on it. All right, let's bolt that sucker down, and finally, you guys can stop bitching about my vise that isn't bolted to anything. Well, it's on there. I also got this tool rack to mount on the side of the box just to hang hammers and clamps and chisels and whatever else likely tools might go along with using a drill press, a vise, and a grinding wheel. Yeah, I think that's going to work out just fine. So I originally was also going to mount this grinding wheel onto my box, but it's just too big. It really takes up too much room, so I think I'm actually going to go with a smaller one. But since the eventual goal is to mount a grinding wheel and a drill press and hopefully a small bandsaw if I have enough room, I need to wire this thing for electricity. So now I'm going to install this on the inside of the box. Alright, couldn't really get the angle of filming me doing it, but you get the idea. Now I've got that power strip mounted on the inside of the box, so now I need to have the power cord coming out the back, so that's next. Well, that's not good. It's not quite fitting out, but unfortunately, 1 inch is the biggest spade I have. I'm going to have to go to a hole saw. That's not working. Alright, before I ruin my box, I'm just going to go with the tried and true file and make the hole a little bigger that way. Success! Now, let's make this look a little bit better. Alright, there you go. She's wired up now. That took me embarrassingly longer amount of time than I would really care to admit, but I got power. Now I just need some recommendations on grinders and drill presses and everything. You know, I've read there's a cheap, no, not cheap, but a discount brand called Wen, W-E-N, that I see selling on Amazon, and watch a bunch of review videos on those things. I think I might end up going with them, and then those will all be permanently mounted up here, and I'll drill the holes for all the power cords to go in and then over ultimately to the power strip that's inside here, and then this will be able to hook right into the wall. Alright, that's enough dicking around with my box. It's time to actually work on motorcycles now. Alright, you guys know that I've been messing around with the clutch and the shifting on this bike, and in doing so, I have made the dreaded and all too familiar to XS650 owners, the clutch pushrod seal is leaking on this bike, and it's a very common problem, but it requires a little bit of a pain in the ass fix. Now, I already started on this the other day, but this isn't something you want to have too many modellos in your system when you do it, is because the clutch pushrod seal is actually installed when the motor is assembled. Alright, you can see in there, I've already got the old seal out, but the problem is since the edge of this is so sharp, what happens is that when you try to push the new seal in there, it actually tears it apart. So what I'm going to have to do is take my Dremel, and this is very scary, but I'm going to have to take my Dremel tool, and I'm going to have to chamfer the edge of this and actually grind on my cases of this engine here in order to be able to get that new seal in there without destroying it. So this is pretty stressful, but here goes nothing. This looks like it's the ring from the old seal. Actually is just kind of kind of setting in there. That can't be good for the action of the clutch, I would say. There's the ball bearing. I see I'm going to actually replace all this stuff with a one-piece clutch push rod. Yes! It fucking worked! Ha! Dude. So apparently you can blow this out with compressed air, because that's all I did. I just went around to the other side here. I'll show you all real quick, because I was actually pretty convinced it wasn't going to work, but I just took my little air compressor and I stuffed that full of paper towels, and I stuffed the intakes full of paper towels. I blew it up with compressed air, and this sucker popped right out. So now I can install my one-piece push rod along with my new seal. All right, here goes nothing. All right, so I bought 2 of these things. They say you're liable to ruin them, at least one of them trying to put it in. And I'll tell you, this first one I got, just for fun, I tried to see if I could stick it in there without doing anything at all. And I immediately tore up the edge of it. So they weren't kidding. So I got basically one shot at this, since pretty sure I already ruined one of these things. Stick a little paper towel in there. These aluminum shavings, probably not the best thing for the engine, you know? Well, there's only one way to find out if this sucker's gonna work or not. I'm going to start with the seal that I think I already messed up a little bit. That way, if I do absolutely bone her up, I've still got one other one to try. Will this work? Again, what they recommended was just kind of tapping it in with a socket. That's what I read online, so I think I've got her pretty even here. And that's what I'm going to try. Problem is, I don't know how to tell whether I'm tearing this thing apart or not. Everyone's like, oh man, you'll ruin them. And I'm just like, how would you even tell if you did or not? Ooh, maybe by all that material pushing out. Oh man. See, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look like something that's gonna hold the oil back. I guess it is pretty easy to tell if you bone her up, since there's all this fucking shit just absolutely got sheared completely off. I would say that that's probably a fail right there. I don't know for sure. I guess the only sure way is to run the thing and see if it leaks oil. Alright, let's fire this sucker up and see if it dumps oil all over the place. Only one way to find out, right? Oh, success. It's not leaking oil. It is leaking gas. I don't know why these brand new carburetors are just insisting on pissing gas everywhere, but it's not leaking oil, so mission accomplished. That's awesome. All right. Garage is a total disaster. It's way later in the day than I want it to be. But the bike is running better than ever. Now, better than ever doesn't mean good, but it's still better than ever. I will tell you, the clutch, I was just fighting and fighting and fighting. After I got this oil leak fixed, thank God that's not leaking, but I was just fighting and fighting this whole thing, and I just couldn't get it to work right, and it was sticking, and, you know, some good old-fashioned lube, both on here and on the cable, just absolutely fixed pretty much all my problems. And so I was just sitting here fighting this thing for no freaking reason at all. I was about to say, it's going to be a short video, either that or a long one, listening to me breathe real heavy trying to get this thing started. Ah, look at that clutch action, baby. I mean, I am freaking amazed. Oh man, I still don't have her idling right, but I'm getting closer. I'm just so happy
I got the shifting and the clutch worked out. Like now it's just as literally as easy as shifting any other bike, both up and down. No oil leaks. Oh man, this bike is starting to run real well. I don't mean run real well. It's still running pretty rough, but it's shifting. Oh man, it shifts and you can actually modulate the clutch. That was what I was having before. Is this clutch was just sticking and incredibly hard to pull, and you couldn't shift the damn thing. But I got it all worked out. That one-piece shift rod helped a lot. I mean, the clutch and the shifters still feel like they're on a motorcycle that's over 40 years old, but there's a good reason for that, because I'm on a motorcycle that's over 40 years old. There's just no getting around that, yeah. But hey, she runs, she shifts, she rides. I love it, man, I love it. Being able to shift through the gears, God, I can't tell you how hard I was beating my head against the wall. And all it turns out is, you know what, I'm a dummy. I had the shift, the actuator, I had it in wrong. That coupled with the linkage that I originally had on there, and you just couldn't make the thing shift. So now I'm back to having a shifter directly on the output shaft for the transmission, or directly on the shifter shaft rather. I've got a shifter directly on there, and now it just shifts exactly like it should. We are getting closer and closer. From here on out, I think I'm going to address some of the brake issues, specifically the rear brake. I'm not really fond of that crazy long linkage I have back there, so I think I might try something different out. Even though it does work, I mean, it stops the bike about as good as you'd expect it to. I mean, for a hardtail motorcycle, this ride ain't that bad. I mean, well, that's a kidney jar one right there, though. Okay, it is kind of bad.